Yes, yes, yes.
So after forming the different costs, the on the contrary, the if they when they decide which means to finance their deficits, there is a rule for the marginal cost of raising of the financing should be equalized or the minimized. Marginal cost to be minimized. But but when the rational government choose the way of it should make the marginal cost of the various means to be equal. And when the marginal cost of raising tax is greater than the marginal cost of inflation, it tends to finance with the inflation. On the contrary, if they prefer tax financing, um, once the composition of the single currency between the two countries, the cost of the smallest deficit financing option will be limited. In order to ensure that, similar to other members of the state of the inflation, the countries with the faultiness financial and tax systems, or with the unsound or not very well developed fiscal and tax systems, will have to be forced to give up the inflation and turn to tax to increase the tax as under the assumption of the unchanged government spending. And for the countries where the marginal cost of tax financing is greater than the marginal cost of the inflation financing, it apparently doesn't conform to the Pareto optimal, which is the rule of the social welfare, which is the loss of the social welfare. The Pareto optimal means the social welfare should be maximized. And thus, in this way, after forming the currency area, they have to give up the way or the policy that can maximize the social welfare in order to compromise the 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 unified currency, because they cannot use the way with the different currencies such as the inflation to give up the inflation. They just have the only choice is to increase the tax, but that way will make their policy cost is more than the implementation of the inflation policy. So then that way the social welfare will lose. And the fifth cost of this one is different economic growth rate among countries lead to trade imbalance. And in two countries, for example, set the initial rate of the two countries with uh, the same initial economic scales. And due to the different economic growth rates, and the country A is developing faster than the country B, and A import from B more than B imports from A. And in this way, the country A has a deficit. And in order to restore to the balance, country A has two choices. The first is to increase the first is to devaluate their currency. The other way is the construction of the domestic economy. After the forming the currency area, and however, under the single currency rule, the only second approach can be chosen. That is adopting the contractionary economic policy to reduce the domestic price level. However, the negative effect is to inhibit the economic growth, which is the loss brought by the single currency area to the countries with rapid economic growth. And all this we discussed is the cost of drawing the single currency area. And the goal is that the membership of the single currency after facing the imbalanced demand and supply, in case exchange rate adjustments disappear, the members will have to give up the effective policy measures to adjust their economy, restore to the equilibrium. That is the biggest cost of the single currency. And other costs are all derived from it. And in fact, there is two factors that determines the cost of single currency. The goal is that the one is the possibility of the asymmetric shocks among the members of the single currency area. The second is the effect of the exchange rate tool for regulating the economic disequilibrium. Theoretical analysis show that in a single currency zone, along with the increasing full element flow, the economic homogeneous tendencies would be strengthened. Asymmetric impacts tend to decrease the probability of in case of the larger economic openings, and the exchange rate policy tool in the long run tend to be invalid. And in the short run, the effect is also quite limited. And in general, to create a single currency area, the implement the cost of single currency will not be huge. And so next we'll talk about the income analysis of the evaluation of the single currency area. First is the benefit of eliminating the transaction cost. That is the benefit from this perspective can be divided to two parts. The first is the direct benefits. The other is the indirect benefits. After forming the single currency area, the currency circulations in the same currency which eliminates the exchange cost of the currencies, and that is the direct cost of the benefits. Direct benefit of this currency area. And the gain is that it after setting after establishing the single currency area, it eliminates the currency exchange costs between the members. And according to the European Commission, this expense can be amounted more than 20 billion US dollar per year. That is that accounts for the 0.5% of the European Union's GDP. So the exchange cost refers to the financial service handle fee. Usually, it's an important component of the bank of balance sheet income. This disappearance of the exchange cost means the bank's income have to compromise or have to lose this bank income. So maybe somebody will be confused and might ask, is that the increase in the public revenue is exactly the offset by the loss to the bank? Where is the loss and gain come from? The point is that while the bank revenue are falling at the same time, a lot of bank resources can be filled up to other profitable projects. Thereby, they increase the level of the net welfare. And the indirect benefit refers to the fact that in the case of the market segmentation, the price discrimination is widespread due to the exchange costs, the management costs, and tax differences. The difference in car prices in Europe is very large. And in the 1995, Italy is the same car brand in Italy, and the price differs from those commodities in Germany about 28%. And differs from those commodities in France about 21% and British about 20%. And in the same single currency zone and area, this transaction, the removal of the transaction cost will reduce the number of members in the area market price discrimination and make the same product at different prices converge on the market. And the exchange cost of eliminating is convenience for the consumers to compare different countries of the same goods on the market price and choose the cheapest market to buy the cheapest good on the market. Therefore, it improves the consumer's welfare.